And here we go. All right. So good evening. Thank you everybody for joining us today. I am Miss Chrissy Lepkowski, and I have Angela Holder with me. Angela, you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming.
So today we're going to talk about some of our new international trips that we have announced. We have a few trips that are running soon and a trip that was just announced for 2024. So before I get started, there is, like I said, a link in the chat, which is a sign-in link with also a section for questions. If you put any questions in there, our rep from EF will be able to give us some detailed answers to those and send those out in a FAQ document later on. She usually is able to join us on these meetings. However, she is quite under the weather, as many of us are currently. You can also kind of write down your questions, and throughout the presentation, we'll stop and answer them. So that QR code that's on the screen is the same link that's in the chat. All right. So to get started, a little bit about our agenda. We're going to go over a quick introduction as to who we are, the itineraries on our trip, what's included, who we partner with, safety and support that is included, and pricing and how to enroll. So if you stay with us, we hope to have you guys out of here by 7 o'clock at the latest, maybe even earlier. I do see a lot of familiar names here, so I know many of you have traveled with us before and probably are quite aware of how this runs. So thank you for trusting us to take your children again on some more trips. I'm glad they had a really great experience, that they're happy to come back. For those of you who are new and maybe have not sent a child with us on a tour, welcome. And we will have some parent info, suggestions, tips, and just, parent perspective by the end of this. And hopefully you'll feel really comfortable by the time we're done. So starting off, first off is, who are we? So we are Tusker Travels. Myself, Chrissy Lepkowski, Angela Holder, who I've already mentioned, and we have 3 other members who are not here with us tonight: Anna Timone, Chrissy Brooks, and Bill Malia. All 5 of us are teachers at the high school in various departments, from art, foreign language, and science. And we started Tusker Travels in 2016 as a nonprofit corporation. Before that, prior to 2016, these trips ran through the district as district-sponsored trips. However, when that ended, we felt like it was an absolute need to continue this for our students. They were actually putting out a petition to keep it going, and we surprised them with the fact that we were going to run it separate. So we do have our own nonprofit corporation with limited insurance, additional insurance. We are in no way affiliated with the district. However, we have met with Ray and Mark and various administrators, and we are fully supported. And because we have insurance, we're actually able to hold meetings in the building. So for those of you who are thinking of signing up your children on some trips, just know that our meetings are typically on Zoom for interest meetings. We communicate via email, but your last meeting, about 2 to 3 weeks before we leave, will be in person at the high school. There's some social media tags. We do a lot of posting on Facebook and Instagram, and our website's up there as well. Some past history: we have done, numerous trips since it was established in 2016, well over probably 200 travelers by now, from trips from Greece, France, actually France twice, Costa Rica, Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, Iceland, and we have a whole bunch of new itineraries for you guys in the upcoming 2 years.
We've been all over the world, and we've done a bunch of things a couple of times as well, as Ms. Lepkowski said.
We have lots of, heavy hitter tours that kids really want to go to. Some of the main ones: Italy's a big one, Galapagos is a big one, Australia. Yeah. We try and recycle those and cycle back to them. The mission of Tusker Travels is to promote global citizenship, which does pair nicely with the district's mission, instill confidence and independence, exposure to new cultures, famous sites, and really create lasting memories. A lot of our students who travel with us talk about these trips, talk about these friendships for years to come, and serve as ambassadors of our area. Some of the pictures on this slide are from one of the most memorable excursions we've done in Costa Rica. We actually landed coming home from Costa Rica right before everything shut down. So for many of our seniors, it was the last fun thing they got to do in senior year. And that specifically is from a school visit where we were able to visit a local school in Costa Rica. We brought them, I think, 8 suitcases full of supplies for the school to have. And our students were able to play games with them, play soccer, talk with them in Spanish. And to be honest, we did zip lining and river rafting. And most kids said the school visit was their favorite part of the trip. So it's really exciting to see students really kind of get outside their comfort zone and have a really great time and interact with these local cultures. We are accepting students from all local school districts because we're not affiliated with Somers. So students in Somers can join our trips any grade from grade 9 through 12. Students coming from outside the district are welcome to join us in grades 10 through 12. If it is a summer trip like Thailand, students who are leaving 12th grade and just graduating are able to travel with us on those summer trips. They need to be in good academic and behavioral standing, and we'll talk later about a character reference that teachers will have to fill out for each of your children if they want to go. All right. Next thing we want to talk about is a little bit as to what Tusker Travels does. What is our role in this process? So our job is to really be facilitators. We create the itineraries, we find unique itineraries. Sometimes we'll custom make them with our liaison, which is EF Tours. In the past, we've used other tour companies. We really kind of landed in with a nice homey spot with EF right now. We review medical needs for each traveler. We try and bring a nurse on as many trips as we can, especially our larger trips. Some of our smaller trips we may not, but we always have a nurse review all of the medical paperwork. But as many as we can, that is our goal. We had Supand actually come with us on our France trip a couple months ago this summer. We have a 5-to-1 or 6-to-1 chaperone ratio, and our chaperones are on duty 24 hours a day, in addition to our tour director who's with us 24 hours a day. We also organize a coach bus to take us to and from the airport so that parents only have to drive students to Reese Park or Van Tassel, somewhere close for departure and pickup. We also add that additional liability insurance. Ms. Brooks makes us custom tour t-shirts for every trip. And I know it might sound strange, but we are photographers. Most parents find it really funny that they send their kids on these trips and they don't get any pictures. So I like to do lots of photography in this folder, and we post every day, and we really show what the kids are doing while on tour, which normally don't send home. So that's always a fun one. One thing that's different from the EF program we're going to talk about in a few minutes is we have our own supplemental fee for Tusker Travels. That supplemental fee is due 2 months prior to departure, and it includes all the extras. We collect money for the tour directors tips, the bus driver tips, any local guide tips, so that students aren't giving out cash and dealing with that on tour. We handle everything. It also covers the bus to and from the airport, the t-shirt, the additional insurance, administrative fees, and things like that. So it is separate from the pricing you're going to see later. And you'll be reminded of that once you enroll as it gets closer. I have some really happy news to share here. As of the end of November on the 28th, we have some positive updates to our COVID policy. We do not have our own COVID policy. We just follow the policies of the countries we are entering. So as of just recently, none of our trips currently have a vaccine requirement.
Yay.
I know it's a big update from September.
It's so wonderful.
And for what I'm seeing, no testing requirement either. So unless things change, that is the current policy. Just know that it could change. So when we talk about the different insurance policies, you have the ability to upgrade to a higher insurance. If you choose that, if there is a vaccine requirement and you don't want your child vaccinated, you have a better, more coverage to get more money back on those different plans. But as of right now, no requirements, which is fantastic. So I'm going to do another couple slides and then we'll stop and see if anyone has questions. And I'm going to put in the chat one more time the link to sign in. And there's also question number 5, which has a spot to put in questions. So we are partnering currently with EF Tours. We had just done a few trips with Explorica, another travel company that we have traveled with a few times. Both are reputable tour companies. We plan on traveling with both in the future. Right now, we are really finding our home with EF. Our tour consultant is absolutely amazing. You would have met her tonight if she was not feeling under the weather. But we partner with EF because they have great tour consultants, phenomenal tour directors. They're very quick to respond to everything. Like I said, our tour consultant, Cleo, is amazing. We text almost every day. She's like on the phone with me constantly, and she's amazing. And they're located around the world. So they have a really good global presence. So EF Tours is our educational travel and our safety partner. They have over 55 years of experience in the business. They are on duty all day, 365 days a year. Just the last 2 days they were at a global conference.
And they're on the ground. They're where we travel. They have offices all over the world. They're out of Boston, but they're all over the world.
They're actually located in 50 different countries. So even if we're in, South America or in Europe, they have numerous different locations on site in those countries. And they have 24-hour customer service and support. So they're a world leader in international travel and education, and they're accredited just like a school. So we'll talk in a minute about some credits your students could earn. So they're also our safety partners. So they have local support, insight on worldwide travel. They are monitoring any safety concerns constantly and updating us. They have rigorous health standards. And what I find to be amazing is the tour directors 24 hours a day. When we were in Sydney, Australia, our tour director was from Sydney. He lives in Sydney, but he stays at the hotels with us 24 hours a day. He can't even go home if it's down the street. It doesn't matter. They're with us at all times. So they have lots of programs and safe, checkpoints in place to keep things safe, experts around the world, and they're really kind of spot on. So emergency support's available 24/7, 365. When it comes to education, they have the personal learning. You have the ability to earn high school credit or college credit. There is more information on, regarding that on their website, but you can earn a half a credit for high school or 3 college credits, which is actually a very small fee to do so compared to what college credits cost. High school credit is free because they're accredited, and they're also willing to help with college essays that reflect the learning that they've had on tour. So there's some really unique education benefits as well. And there's always educational components to our tours too. So our partners in this entire journey together is our tour consultant, who is Cleo, our tour director, who we find out the couple weeks before we go, who is someone who is either living in the countries we're visiting or local near those countries. And
Speaks
has
the language.
Yes, someone, yeah. Usually there's someone that lives in that country or nearby. So they know all the local information, the health, the hospitals, you name it, they're aware of it. They speak the language, that's a requirement. So EF supports us in a lot of different ways. You have myself and Angela Holder, who are group leaders, and as well as the entire EF support team. So when we are going to kind of get through the itineraries in a minute, we have a few things when it comes to booking with confidence. So the Peace of Mind program is something that Anna Timone actually used quite a few years ago, which means that we can change our trip itinerary during any kind of uncertain times. When it comes to anything terroristic, anything a health concern, we have the ability to change our tour to something different, to get out of a different location up until just a few weeks before. And that happened quite a few years ago. Something happened in Paris, they were not comfortable, they changed their itinerary. So that's kind of one of the really big benefits that we love about EF. And what I was saying before about upgrading insurance, we include the global travel protection to everyone's plan, to everyone's account. So when you sign up, that price is already included. And that includes coverage for baggage that might be lost, trip cancellation, interruption. But if you do want to upgrade, there's Travel Protection Plus, which allows you to cancel for any reason at any time. So just make sure when you're enrolling, it's all online and you'll get to look through those different different policies. Check and see if it's worth it for you to upgrade to the 300 or the 300 or not. And for our 2024 trips, there's a risk-free enrollment. Meaning you can enroll between now and December 16th and have an entire full refund, all money back, if for some reason you need to cancel within that time. So it's a 14-day enrollment benefit. That's not valid on our 2 most recent trips, the Ireland, Scotland, and Thailand, because they need to start booking airfare and hotels. So everything that's included with these tours is itinerary, logistics, planning out where we're going, the order we're going, the busing, you name it, it's all taken care of. EF also handles all the payments and protections. They have multiple different payment options, the global travel protection. They monitor student accounts. You can call them and look into account information, changing payment information if you want to change the date it happens. And they also handle all the personalized learning. So when it comes to kind of making this all happen, right, you have this scholarship you can also apply for through EF, which is all on their website. And what I love is that students who are paying for this on their own or partly on their own get a customizable tour donation page. So holidays are coming up, social media, they can share the link to their donation page and have people donate to their trip, kind of like a GoFundMe page, which is awesome. And 100% of those proceeds go directly to the student's tour balance, which is really awesome. So before I keep going about the trips that we are speaking of today, does anyone have any questions before I keep going? You can either put them in the chat or shout them out.
And Ms. Lepowski, should we spin the wheel or are we waiting for that?
I think so. Let's do it.
Let's
so while we're looking at questions, does anyone have, this wheel up. So I did say on the flyer, we're going to have some discounts available throughout the night. So I have this spinning wheel. We'll take a spin. Whoever wins, we'll do a few of them throughout the night. You will be emailed a discount code for $50 off your supplemental fees through through Tusker Travels. If for some reason you don't see your child's name on here, I updated this as of an hour ago. just put the child's name in the message and I will be sure to add it in for the next spin. So here we go.
All right, let's see.
Always love giving away free discounts.
I love the wheel.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be Alex. It's Jack. Jack Tremblay.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Right.
All right. And I see one name I need to add. Let me just add that one in. Awesome. All right. Any questions so far? Don't see any coming in. Okay. So let's talk about the couple trips we're announcing. So we are speaking on the 2 trips that have already previously been announced. Ms. Holder, is this sharing correctly? Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So we have Ireland and Scotland, which is very, very soon. It's this April.
There's
And
no time to delay with that one.
no, we need to enroll quickly on that one. Thailand is this coming summer 2023, and our newest trip is Italy, Switzerland. So we're gonna fly through like maybe 10 minutes on all of these tours and what they're about. Then we'll get into how to enroll. All right. So first up is Ireland, Scotland.
Any questions before we start? Have you seen any? I don't think I'm seeing the chat questions.
Some of them are going directly to me. I have a few students
Oh, okay.
next time.
All right. Just making sure.
All right.
Okay, so we are headed to Scotland and Ireland come this spring break. And we're quite excited to do it. It's been on my bucket list since I was a little girl. I have always wanted to go to Ireland, and I really have always wanted to go see Nessie and the Loch Ness Monster. So I'm really, really excited to do that. We are going to we're going to fly to Dublin. It takes, about 5-6 hours to fly to Dublin. And these things about these European air flights, I don't know if your child's ever been on one of them, but they're really very, very big flights and very nice flights, very comfortable. And the food is wonderful, actually. We're going to spend 2 nights in Dublin, 1 night in Belfast, 4 nights in Edinburgh, Scotland, and 2 nights in the Highlands of Scotland. So that's pretty much how we're going to be traveling around. We are going to meet our tour director in the heart of the city of Dublin, which is the capital of Ireland. It's a famous ancient city. We're going to go to Griffin Street. There's beautiful parks there. There's wonderful shopping. We're going to really get a really nice guided tour of Dublin and see all the sights and everything there is to do there. We're going to then, the next day, we're going to go to Trinity College. Trinity College is a famous college in Ireland, in Dublin, that has the Book of Kells. The Book of Kells, as you probably already know, is an illuminated manuscript from 800 AD, and it is an absolutely priceless wonder of the world, and we're going to go see it, and then hopefully have some high tea in Trinity College. After we spend a couple days in Dublin, we are going to go to I'm going to travel to St. Patrick's Cathedral, which is from the 18th century. It is one of the landmarks in Ireland. It's a huge, huge tourist attraction, and we are going to visit many of the squares. Ireland is made up of all of these different squares, and there's essentially like many sort of central parks in the middle of a city grid. So it's beautiful green space. We'll do some hiking around the city square. And of course, obviously, lots of wonderful shopping. We are going to go to the Epic Immigration Museum and learn about some Irish culture and Irish heritage, and learn all about the immigration process to the United States. And that should be really pretty interesting, as most of the students would love to see that, I'm sure. After that, we are going to travel to Belfast, meet our local guide in Belfast. Belfast is a very, very colorful city, very famous for shopping. We're going to go to the famous St. George Market, which is an open air market for shopping, which I know kids love. And after that, we're going to actually see where the Titanic was built, down by the waterfront, and we're going to go to the Titanic Museum. And it is a huge, huge tourist attraction, huge facility. You'll see how the ship was made. There'll be a walking tour of the inside of a kind of like a makeshift hull, and that should be really pretty interesting. We all know that because of that disaster and obviously the movie, so kids, I'm sure, will enjoy that. Next, we're going to be traveling off to Edinburgh, Scotland. Edinburgh is an ancient medieval city that is a beautiful, lush kind of farmlands and really gorgeous scenery. We're going to go to the Edinburgh Castle. I don't know if any one of you have seen the Game of Thrones, but the Game of Thrones, lots of the scenes was filmed in Edinburgh Castle. It's a 900-year-old castle. It's used mainly as a military base now, and it's quite a tourist attraction. We're going to climb the castle walls and see, there's a little trip where you can do and see what that castle is all about. We'll spend a couple of days in Belfast. We'll do some shopping. We'll do what's called the Spectres of Scotland. And it's basically a spooky tour where it's going to be done at night. We're going to have lanterns and kind of just travel around Scotland and really go into these, you think of these medieval towns, they look so like from a movie set, but you're actually there. They're quite amazing. And we're going to go see like basically a walking tour, but at night. So it's going to be a little spooky. And I think the kids would like that. Think like Hobbit and stuff like that. After that, we're going to travel by cruise. We're going to take a cruise to the Loch Ness of Scotland and go see, there's a beautiful water range there. There's hiking there. There's going to be lots of green space that we're going to be traveling in, and we're going to spend 2 nights there traveling there. And then we're obviously going to try and find, like I said, the Loch Ness Monster. We're going to go to a castle there, Stirling's Castle, and then go to the city center after that. And then after that should be at least 10 days. I think I went through, we'll be traveling home from Scotland. Yep, I went through those. Go ahead. Okay, so here's some pictures of what your child will be seeing. Like I said, there's the Highlands in Scotland are beautiful green spaces. We'll be doing some we'll be doing some hiking in parks in Scotland. There is the castle we'll be seeing after we take the river cruise and the ferry. That is St. Patrick's Cathedral. We will be doing, it's going to be seasonal, so the weather should be good. We're going to see a sheepdog shearing experience, and those are the murals in Belfast. So what's included in the itinerary? As Ms. Lepasky already said, obviously the airfares included, where the hotels are all included. There are meals that are included. The breakfast is a buffet style breakfast where we get up and we're all together. We all eat our fuel for the day, our coffee for the day, our tea for the day, really fill up our water bottles and get ready for the day's events. And then the night meals are all included. So we all eat dinner together. We're with the tour director, with the travelers, all eat dinner together at different restaurants all over the city centers where we're staying. And then a tour director is on call 24 hours a day. They're always with us. They are boots on the ground in case anything were to, anything that we would need. Transportation is included. If we have to take a subway, they get subway tickets. If we have to take a bus, we're all on a bus together. Most of the time we're walking around doing some nice hiking. Local guides meet us at least 3 or 4 times on every trip. That's another expert that comes in that lives in that area and has an expertise where we would be going. So like, for instance, we would definitely have a local guide come give us a walking tour of St. Patrick's Cathedral and tell us everything we need to know about it. So these trips are extremely, extremely educational, as well as sightseeing and life-changing. So enhanced life, landmarks that we'll be seeing, attractions, and so on and so forth. What are we responsible for? Okay, so some of the things that you're responsible for, your child will be responsible for, is obviously passports. If they have a COVID test, you would want a copy of that. Baggage fees, if there's an oversized bag or they want to take an extra bag, you can pay for that. Tips and local guides are included in the Tusker travels fees, so that's included. Snacks and meals. One of the funnest things that happens on these trips are experiencing local fare. Now, I can't promise that I'm going to try haddock in Ireland, but I am going to try some of their candy. Maybe I'll try some beer. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, we don't do that. But you know, the local culture and the local experience of what you would travel there. So you need a little bit of money for that. I say maybe $25 a day for some snacks. All the students will have their own sort of lunch experience. We stay in like a couple of feet from them, and they go to this shop, that shop, and buy the things that they like. Just sort of a little bit of independence and stuff like that. So that's what makes these trips a little fun. It's like getting back on the bus all together and figuring out, what did you get? What did you get? What snacks do you have? What goodies do you have for the room? So it's actually kind of nice. So for Scotland and Ireland, the trip, because this trip is running so soon, it's actually in a few months. Bi-weekly would be $723. Monthly, it's $1445, and pay in full would be $43.29. And that does include all the things we just talked about. And we are on a hard deadline for this trip because we have to start booking flights. So it does have a number of people already going, but there are still some spots left in case you're looking to send your traveler this spring break.
So just so you know, it's a very tight timeline. You have 3 days. So by the end of the day on the 9th, Friday night, you need to have the enrollment in there and signed up through EF. And also in EF, you're going to also have to give your passport information. So a passport has to already be attained. But we figured we wanted to make sure we spoke about this one to make sure everyone had the opportunity. What's that?
We didn't want you had a chance to in case you missed it. So.
Yeah. So before we keep going and look at the next trip, let me just go back to our wheel. Let's add another discount to the board. I just have a name to put in here. All right, so let's hit shuffle and see who gets our next discount. That's definitely the best part here. Ooh, is it gonna be Matt? Is it? Oh, Allie. All right, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Out for you. Allie. All right, so I'm going to quickly just go through the Thailand itinerary, and then we'll get to Italy in about 5 minutes or so. So let me just switch over here. So I'm running
as we go, put some chat questions in the chat as well.
And you know, we can also open. Does anyone have any questions at the moment that they want to share out in the chat, or just share out by unmuting? Okay, so let me run through Thailand really quickly. So Treasures of Thailand, we are going to, please ignore my pronunciation. I'm working on it, but I haven't mastered it yet. We're going to do the Treasures of Thailand tour through Chiang Mai, Phit Sanuluk, Kanchanaburi, and Bangkok. So our tour itinerary, we're going to fly to Thailand, into Bangkok. We're going to see the skyscrapers and the temples and experience a lot of culture on this boat ride down the Chao Phraya River. And supposedly they say we're going to see monitor lizards. Our EF tour consultant, Cleo, actually has been in Thailand 6 times. So I had a personal one-on-one about 2-hour conversation with her picking this tour. And she said there were lizards literally walking into the hotels. We are going to then spend a bunch of days in Thailand, visiting the Grand Palace, Emerald Buddha, like I said, that boat ride. Then we're going to head to Ratchanburi, explore the floating market, where we're going to see fresh fruits and herbs and spices and souvenirs. And you'll see lots of pictures of those floating markets going by. We're going to get some time to spend there. Then we're going to, let's see if I missed anything there. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick overview. There's a lot to talk about here. Do a Thai cooking class where we're going to be on a agricultural farm, see how it operates, and be able to do a cooking class there. In Kanchanaburi, we're also going to do the Death Railway Museum, which is where an estimated 60,000 prisoners of war were forced to work, and due to inadequate food and medical supplies, actually tragically passed. And it was named the Death Railway because of that. So we not only get to go to the museum, but we get to take a ride on that railway. We also will go to the waterfalls, which was that crystal green blue water, do some hiking and swimming. There's a Booyah Cave, which is its massive cave system with some golden golden Buddhas in there. Looks really cool, especially with my earth science background. Really excited for that one. I don't know if anyone watches The Amazing Race, but a couple of years ago, they did a rickshaw adventure. So we're going to do the same thing, go to the night market on rickshaw tours with those pedal bikes that'll take us around the market at night. Supposedly there's this thing called the flying fish. They literally like toss the morning glory fish. It's from what I've read. It's supposedly like a like steamed vegetable too. We also have the option there to take a bike tour with local guides, and probably one of the most interesting or most interested part for students is the Mai Tang Valley Elephant Nature Park. So the first thing kids say is, I want to ride an elephant. But unfortunately in Thailand, when you are able to ride them, it's actually places that are abusive to elephants. So instead of doing that, because EF does not support activities like that, we're going to go to an elephant sanctuary where we're going to have an up-close experience. You can prepare their food, bathe them, go on a walk, play with babies. So help them. There's elephants that have been rescued from those inhabitable environments and poor conditions. We are going to go to a special dinner show, visit a monastery where we have a one-on-one interaction with them, and that varies by tour, and a couple other temples, and then head home. I have a lot of friends who have been to Thailand. They say it's quite an amazing experience. Like I said, our EF tour consultant's been there 6 times, and we talked for 2 hours about this tour. So I'm really excited. It is very unique. This tour also includes everything that Angela mentioned, so I'm not going to run through that again. The only difference is this one also includes lunch, because we're in a lot of really remote areas. It's not very easy to access a lot of different lunch locations. So lunch will be included as well as breakfast and dinner on this one. Again, our tour director is local. They'll stay with us the entire time, and it includes all of these other expenses. Same thing as the Ireland tour. Responsibilities would be passports, baggage fees only if you're going over, which shouldn't be a problem, some snacks. And again, those tips are going to be covered in our supplemental fees. So this Thailand trip is 11 days. As of right now, my goal is to be departing on June 26th, which I believe is a Monday. But in order to get the cheapest price, we had to give them flexible dates. So I have a flexible date from the 25th to, I believe, the 28th to depart. So the earliest we could leave is the 25th of June, and the latest we could get back is July 13th. In a few weeks, I hope to have the finalized dates, but just know it is a flexible window. The in full balance is $4,389, but you have the ability to do biweekly and monthly payments. Again, they're a little bit higher because this trip runs in just a few months.
And it includes all 3 meals per day.
And just so you know, passports for these trips should be valid 6 months past when you get home. A lot of countries require that. So I'm getting some messages about passports. Take a look at when the trip gets back and have it valid 6 months past that. So if your child's passport is not valid longer than that, have it renewed right away. I would go to the post office, is usually the quickest. So that would be my suggestion, is really take a look at those passports and get them updated right away. And Allie, I'll get back to your message in just a second. So let's do a quick spin on the wheel and add another discount in there. And while I'm doing that, let's hit spin and see. All right, we have Catherine.
Right.
Congratulations.
Sounds good.
Again. All right, make sure I write down who needs an email when I get out and we're done. All right, let me do a quick talk about Italy, and then we'll hear from a parent and then talk about how do we enroll. We are almost done, I promise. So Switaly is what actually our tour consultant calls this one, Switzerland and Italy. We are going to go to Zurich and Lucerne in Switzerland, then head off to Italy for Venice, Florence, Assisi, and Rome. So this jam-packed itinerary starts in Switzerland, and then we head to Lucerne, where we're going to be headed to the Lake Lucerne. You're going to dip your toes in there. We're going to take a ride to the top of the Swiss mountains. You're going to do a Swiss fondue evening. So we have a special dinner that's included, which is a fondue meal. And we're also going to see some yodeling and folk dances and all unique music of Switzerland. We're going to travel by water taxi to the island of Burano and see a glass blowing demonstration. So here's a little preview of Lake Lucerne. You have the nice, beautiful Swiss mountains in the back. And then we're going to head to Venice once we're done in Switzerland. And in Venice, we're going to see the canals. There's just a little glimpse of that. Make sure we do it before sea level keeps rising. Sorry, science. So we head to Florence, where we're going to do a half-day excursion to Pisa, get a picture of our Leaning Tower, and another science fact, sorry. This is where Galileo actually was said to have developed his laws of gravity. this is an example of, this is the Trevi Fountain. I actually just talked with the Italian teacher at the high school, and she's done a trip to most of these locations, and she was raving about it. We're going to see the Basile de St. Francis, tour the Colosseum, spend a few days in Rome, got a guided tour of the Vatican City, explore Rome. It's going to be a jam-packed Italy tour. So what I also wanted to make sure I mentioned is we can't forget about the food. Who doesn't want to go to Italy for the food? So I've actually included an upgrade to upgraded meals on this tour. So don't worry. She said that our Italian teacher, Melissa, said there's plenty of good snacks outside a lot of the Bastille. So I'm going to get all sorts of different ideas and suggestions on where to go. Bring your Italian appetite to Italy and Switzerland. It's going to be a blast. So for Italy and Switzerland, because it is the farthest one out, we have a couple different payment options. Again, biweekly, monthly, in full, and the total price with the discount is $4,619. This price right here is with a $200 discount that will expire on the 16th of December. I know it's holidays, and if you by all means cannot enroll by December 16th, doesn't mean the tour is shut and not accepting enrollments, but it is the cheapest price to enroll soon. Now, all 3 trips, you can enroll with a $95 deposit. That's it. That's all you're committing to right away. So you have time to kind of do the monthly plan and wait until after the holidays to continue paying. So you're
not
not
put yourself just on a payment plan.
Yes. Yeah. So with this information for Italy and Switzerland, there is limited spots. I have a feeling it's going to fill quite quickly, actually, even though it's quite early. We're going to do a full bus, which is a little bit larger in Europe than in like Galapagos. So I think we can take up to about 40. But we never go above a bus. So goal is to enroll by December 16th to ensure you get that cheaper price. So before I do how to enroll and how to get your applications in, let me do a quick, oh, I'm sorry, I missed how many days in Italy. So Italy is 10 days. Now, the only issue with Italy is it's booked for April or spring break of 2024. However, we don't have the calendar yet, and we're not allowed to take days off of school. So at the moment, I have it booked to leave either Friday night, the day that break would start, through Sunday night, or Saturday through Monday. So it depends if we have the Monday off after Easter or not. So it's a 10-day trip. It's just a matter of if we're going to leave Friday night or Saturday, and that will change a couple things.
We usually do have that Monday off.
Except this year, so I don't know why. But in the spring, as soon as that comes out, I'll be able to lock in which days. But it's a 10-day tour. With I know breakfast and dinner are included with that one. I have to double check lunch. That's a unique one. I don't honestly remember if lunch was included, but always breakfast and dinner. So, and a lot of times in these bigger cities, they don't include lunch, like I'd mentioned with Ireland. So kids can kind of choose what they want to do and what they want to eat. Some kids have different, appetites. So it allows them to kind of venture off to different cafes, to different cuisines that they want to choose to go to.
It's very exciting for them. So it's really nice.
Sometimes if we have a large road trip to get to the next city, we'll stop somewhere and get sandwiches and make it convenient, but most of the time they get to choose kind of where they go. So I will circle back on and put that in the Tusker Travels website as to if any of the lunches are included. All right, so before I keep going, do I have any other questions? I had a couple come in. I think I answered them. So what I'd like to do is do maybe one more discount and then invite a parent to speak about a perspective. So let's do that first. Can we all see the wheel?
Yay.
All right. So while I'm spinning this wheel, I had some other questions come in about making larger deposits. You can choose the manual payment plan where throughout the months of the trip, you can choose to put larger chunks of money down. There's a couple benchmarks you have to hit at certain months from the trip. You have to have a certain amount paid, and they'll warn you of when those are, but you can kind of choose to do larger chunks when you want with the manual plan. So Hunter is our next winner. So congratulations. So within any of the tours that we're talking about, those different payment plans, like I said, you have those options of biweekly, monthly, in full, and always a manual option. All right. But when you enroll, the original fee, the startup fee is the $95 enrollment fee.
That's all you need.
And then you can choose to add more if you're doing those different types of plans. All right, so at this time, I'm actually going to stop sharing. Actually, not here. I'll leave this up. And Wendy, do you mind giving a little perspective? So I see so many different names of students who have traveled with us before, and I'm really excited to see so many of you are, choosing to send your children with us again and have had a wonderful experience. And for those of you who are not or have not traveled with us, thank you for joining us. So let's see,
You can unshare me.
Sure. All right, Wendy, are you ready to?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm just going to turn it over to Wendy McClella. Her daughter traveled with us in France, and I could probably pick on any parent here to talk, but go ahead and share your experience.
Hi, I know a lot of you guys. I'm Wendy McCullough. My daughter Lindsay went on the France trip this past June. Overall, it was a fabulous experience. It was her first time traveling outside the US alone without us. So with that came a lot of nervousness from me and, just wanting her to be safe and have a great time at the same time, especially with everything that was going on with COVID and everything. So and another thing, she actually was only about 2 months post-op from an ACL reconstruction. So we were a little worried about that. But it turned out to be the best trip ever. The itinerary was wonderful. The communication from the tour, from everybody that went, was amazing. Very informative. We got updates, the communication. I got a text from Christine about how Lindsay was doing in terms of walking around Paris with her knee. Mrs. Pond was well aware of all of her, issues with the knee, and they watched out for her, and she ended up doing great. Actually, I think it was the best thing for the knee in the long run, but walking it out throughout France. But they had a great time. They had a lot of supervised opportunities to explore, but also they were allowed to explore on their own, which I think was amazing for them, especially around Paris and out into Normandy and the areas in between. I just can't say enough of how wonderful of a trip it was and what an amazing growing experience it was for them. I don't know if you want me to answer specific questions, but I just felt that it was better than expected. It was great. And Lindsay had an amazing time. And we're hoping maybe Lindsay and her sister might try to do the Italy, Switzerland. So
You bring up a great point about medical. We collect medical information prior to the trip. And with Lindsay's knee issue, we arranged to have taxis and Ubers drive her to certain locations that were quite a far walking distance with a chaperone. So we will accommodate, dietary restrictions, medical conditions, things like that. So that's kind of why we do those forms. So if any parents have any questions that they want to ask Wendy or any of the other, we have so many parents on here who have traveled with whose students have traveled. If anyone has a question for them, you can just turn on your mic or put it in the chat.
they were even so great as to finding out which hotels had elevators, because Lindsay wasn't able to do stairs very easily with her luggage. So Ms. Timone was able to figure out which hotels had, capabilities of her getting to her room. And it just, you guys, your communication was amazing. It kept our stress level down, and she ended up having, it was an amazing trip.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love having parent perspective. It just
Lindsay
helps.
was wonderful. Thank you. She was
Other
such a good sport.
I was, I don't have a daughter old enough to go, so I can imagine those who do, you might want to hear from other parents. So please make sure you're also filling in that sign-in sheet. I'll post it again in the chat, and questions can go in there. And let's get into how to enroll, right? The big question, how do I get signed up for this? So before I do that, let me just turn this on here. All right. So how to enroll, I'm going to tell you what the process is, and then I'll show you also, and we'll do another discount too before we go tonight, maybe two. So you can scan those QR codes, or they're all linked on our website, which I'll show you. So there's 3 steps, basically. First step is to enroll with EF. The very first thing you want to do is go to EF, get signed up, get your payment plan chosen, lock in that pricing. Because if you enroll late with EF, the pricing could increase.
Especially for Scotland and Ireland.
Yes, because you only have a 3-day window. So for Scotland and Ireland, by the end of business day on Friday the 9th. Get that application in through EF, especially with Scotland Island, and make sure you insert your passport information too. As soon as you're enrolled with EF, we get an email, so-and-so has enrolled in your EF tour. You'll start your payment plans. You can choose between the different insurance options. And then you're gonna go to the Tusker Travels website, which I'll show you. And there's a Google form application. So it's about 8 different sections. It'll give us information. We need to have both applications. I kind of on the back end cross-check that we have your contact info. We have information about your child through Tusker Travels. We also have your EF enrollment, where we can check your balance of your payments and kind of keep on track there. The EF account will also give you updates. You need to put passport info. You need to sign this form. So you'll be managing both of those. So both of those enrollments need to be done by the 16th. And then within the Tusker Travels one, students will have to send links to their teachers for character references. So let me show you that now, and then we'll see what other questions we have. All right, let me share it to here. While I'm here, I might as well just spin this again, right? Let's hit it one more time. See who else we can get a discount. Ooh, is it Alexandra or is it going to be Matt? It's Alexandra. All right, congratulations. An email will go out later tonight or tomorrow with the discount code for you. So here we go. On the Tusker Travels website, you have this little drop-down menu from here. There's a lot of different sections you can visit about the tour companies, policies, trips that we're running, you know, about us, etc. Anyone who couldn't join the Zoom tonight, in the informational meeting section, I will post at some point today or tomorrow the Zoom recording from today's meeting. So you can show them that. But to apply, you're going to hit apply now, and you have a few drop downs here. So this first one just gives you a summary of the process. First thing first, you're going to complete the tour company enrollment form, and it links you to it. Then you're going to complete the Tusker Travels form, then it links you to it. And this is the character reference link that gets sent out to teachers or a boss if you're working, if the student's old enough to work. It needs to be just a short email. Hi, Miss Woolsey, can you please fill out this link? I'd like to go on this trip. That's it, short and sweet. Schoology message it. So when you're ready to start, you go to application, or you can click on it through here. And this is the options to go through the different steps. So the first application is the tour company. Right here, everything is linked. You have the EF tour enrollment form for Ireland, Scotland, brings you right here. You can view all the data, all the information. There's itinerary, safety for parents, videos. Enroll now is where you need to go. If you click on Thailand, same thing, looks the same. Enroll now here. And again, more information. I read through the for parents part the other day. It was pretty informative. And here we go, Italy and Switzerland. Okay, enroll now. There's the discount and more information. So first things first, go to that tour company enrollment form, get that in, lock in your price, choose your pricing plan. After that, you're going to go to step 2, complete the Tusker Travels application. So if I click on that, it opens up this Google form. It's going to ask some basic information. Communication, make sure whatever email you use the most often, you have put into this form. And in your EF account, we communicate primarily by email for majority of the time until about 3 weeks prior to the meeting. We'll meet to the trip, we'll meet in person. So there's 8 different sections or 10 different sections you're going to fill in. It takes a little time, so I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. Once you have the EF one done, you have the Tusker Travels one done, there's another reminder, hey, send these links out to your teachers. If you have traveled with us in the last year, you do not need to send out the link. So I see a lot of names, right? So, you know, Lindsay McCullough, she wouldn't have to do one. I see a couple other names and plenty of other names in here who's had their child travel. If it's the same child going, they don't need to send that again. If they haven't traveled with us, they send this out to a teacher, to 3 of them. And that's it. Once you're enrolled, you'll be managing your EF account, looking at your payments, checking up on any deadlines. They'll be emailing you, and then myself, Ms. Holder, or whoever else is kind of checking emails, usually me, because I'm kind of obsessive with it, we'll be checking in with you if we need anything. All right, so everything can be found under apply now. All right, application process, the applications, the forms, the references. So at this point, what questions do we have that I might be able to answer, or Ms. Holder can answer? Look, I said before 7, we have 6 minutes. Look at that.
Excellent job.
All right. And while you're in those tour enrollment pages for EF, where you're going to sign up, it'll also give you the detailed itinerary. So for example, here, you know, fly to Switzerland. Just know with Italy and Switzerland, we're not doing this blue extension. We just don't have time. We have to get back to class and school, but it'll show you all the full itinerary details, right? So we have fondue evening, right? All of these excursions are included.
So I just speak for a minute from a parent perspective as well. So I've been traveling all over the world with Tusker Travels for years, and it has been an amazing experience. And then this past year, I decided to take my daughter along with me for her sweet 16 birthday present. We went to France. Well, she came with us to France. She knew no one, and she suffers from anxiety, and she was a little nervous. And I have to tell you that within 15 minutes of being on the bus, she felt like she was with family. Somers was wonderful to her. The students were fantastic. She met so many lifelong friends and had probably the trip of a lifetime. And she's coming again with us to Thailand. And if she pays for Italy and Switzerland, she'll be going to that as well. So it is amazing. And I have to tell you, these trips are life-changing. She has become so much more confident. And I'm telling you, I know she won't say it, but she'll be writing her college essay about it, I'm sure.
Great point. I've had a few questions come in about payment plans. So I just went to EF's payment policies, which are all on our Tusker Travels page too. When you go to apply all the EF, there's Explorica, but EF is where we're now, booking conditions, handbook. Here's just some more information on those payment plans. So you have option 1, pay in full at enrollment. You can pay the entire thing once you enroll. You have the automatic plan where you can do monthly or bi-weekly, and you get to choose which day of the month it comes out, and you can change it as you go. Again, $95 deposit is all you need to start that one. Just be careful with that one. You can't actually link it to a credit card. I assume it has to do something with the fees that are associated with credit cards. It has to be to an ATM card or a checking account. Just be careful. The manual plan, which is one it seems a lot of people would like to lean towards, or a few people that have messaged me. With the manual plan, there's a $50 fee to do it because there's a lot of flexibility. With that one, you can make payments less times, more times, larger chunks, smaller chunks, but there is a little bit of a schedule. So you have to make sure you do the $95 to enroll. And when you enroll, you have to do your protection, your global protection, travel protection, your insurance. So those two things have to be done in enrollment. Then other than that, you have to have, you have a $500 that's due 30 days after enrollment and $500 due 90 days after. Those are the only kind of stipulations. Then the rest is just due 110. So the manual plan might be convenient for those who might want to pay bigger chunks at one time, but there's a little bit of, structure. So I'm going to post this link in the chat to everyone. It's just the payments and policy plans. And all you need to do is just Google EF payments or EF tours payments, and you can find this too. All right, other questions. And in that sign-in sheet, you can also put questions in there, and our tour consultant will send out a large FAQ document in the next day or two, and we'll be checking in via email to give you all of these links as well. One other thing I just want to point out before we go is within the Tusker Travels page, you can go to the trips section and click on any one of our trips that are running. So for example, Italy and Switzerland. And once you go to general information, you'll see everything we talked about. You'll be able to go to the apply page from here. You'll see that no COVID vaccines needed. The itinerary is posted. You can also go to the EF enrollment page too. It's the same information, what's included, dates, there's links, all the things in red are links, 10-day trip. So everything here is on the Tusker Travels page. Okay, you can go to any trip and see all of that information. Or
so if you know anyone that wasn't able to attend the Zoom, just direct them to tuskertravels.org, and all the information, as Ms. Lepowski was saying, is there, and they can really, it's so easy. You can use your friendly to work the site. They can really just sign up themselves.
Yep, and we'll be sending out an email in the next day or two also with this PowerPoint. And again, I'll be posting the recording up online too. So are there any other questions? You guys might be the quietest group, probably because a lot of you have traveled with us before.
Yeah.
One big question that hasn't come up yet is about parents. We actually don't have parents come on our trips. It's run just like the school used to run it, with chaperones that are teachers or one of our spouses possibly, and a nurse. And we do accommodate dietary restrictions. There'll be a form to fill out about any dietary needs, medical needs, etc. Students will carry their own medication, but we will be checking in with them about medicating on whatever they might need. What other normal questions come up? Rooming. Oh, rooming's a big one. Well, there are a lot of students on this one. That's probably why. First question with kids ask is always room. Who do I room with? How do I pick my roommate? So there's a roommate form we put out a couple months before the trip, and you get to but pick 5 people you'd want to room with. And if there's people you don't necessarily want to room with, you can put 2 that you would rather not. I literally spend hours, probably an entire day, cutting out little sheets of each
Like a
person.
grid.
Oh, matching it up. I'm telling you, it's the bane of my existence, but I
We
know it's
love it.
because every student wants to make sure that they're with their friends. So what we ensure is that you will be with somebody on your list of 5. It might not be the same person, it might not be all of them, but we are really, really careful about changing up hotel combinations, because after 10 days, your best friend might get on your nerves. They might not think so, but it happens. So we do mix up the groups, but they'll be rooming in anywhere from 2 to 4, groups of 2 to 4, gender specific based on that. And if for any reason our trips are smaller and we're merging with other schools, we only room with our students. So unless we have a full bus, there's a possibility of combining with other tours. That also being said, because this is not run through Somers, you can sign up cousins, friends, family from other districts. So, you know, Angela's daughter is in Rockland. She came. We had a girl from Pauling come. She was a friend of a student in Somers that she knew from personal experiences. So other high school students are more than welcome to come. Same process. They have the same application, the character references. The only stipulation is they are only grades 10 through 12 allowed outside of Somers. In Somers, we accept 9 through 12. So rooming's a big one. Food is a big one. Yeah, there is some free time, like Wendy had mentioned, occasionally, but there's always parameters as to where you can be and, you know, how far you can go. We set up the Remind app so all students can get in touch with us. But majority of it is supervised free time.
Normally, parents get a travel plan on the phone. Communication is key, and so it's nice to have the phones working just like they work at home.
All right, I have a few other questions coming in. I think I answered them.
You did a great job, Ms. Lepowski.
Thank you. You too. Other than that, I would make sure you guys right away, if you're interested in any of these, Ireland, you have 3 days to get those applications in. Get that EF one done, get your passport information inserted. Thailand, that one's going to be closing in probably another 30 to 60 days at most. Italy, Switzerland, the night I put this up, I didn't even really publish it in social media, maybe one post. I think we had seven applications.
Well, we're gonna fill a bus.
So that one might fill by the end of this year. So if you're interested in Italy and Switzerland, I definitely get a jump on it and take advantage of the lower prices.
Mhm.
All right, so I will be checking in the next few days via email. You are more than welcome to contact myself, Ms. Holder. All of our emails are online under About Me, About Tusker Travels, Meet the Directors. So if you want to just message any one of us specifically, our emails are just our last names. And that's all I have for you.
You can also have your son or daughter just pop in and ask us a question.
Yes. Yep. So thank you again for all of you who I see that have sent your children with us in the past. We absolutely love the fact that they had a great experience and they want to come back, or their siblings want to come back. For those of you who might be new, welcome. It's a fantastic program. If you just check our Facebook or our Instagram, you'll see all the photos of what we've done on tour. We have a trip leaving in February from Galapagos, so you'll be kind of inundated with photos coming soon, but follow us on social media. That is how you'll find out about the new trips, Instagram and Facebook. Thank
you so much for spending some time with us and hearing our trips. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night. And we hope to see some applications rolling in soon. If you have any trouble with it, just let me know. I can also talk on the phone if you want to go over some more details too. Oh, I also forgot, there's a repeat traveler discount. So for anyone who's traveling in Galapagos or any other EF tour, there's a $100 enrollment repeat traveler.
Yippee.
Something, right? Discount codes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.